Fulfilling your mission has never mattered more. Your people need you. The world needs you. So how do you keep giving your best while genuinely staying positive when the world around you seems like it's falling apart? Today, we're talking about how to choose your response in any situation so that you can continue to fulfill your mission by being the light in the darkness. Hi, I'm Snakard, and on this channel I help visionary entrepreneurs and transformational leaders like you to expand your impact while loving life every step of the way and without ever having to give up what matters most to you. Today is about choosing your response so you can stay positive in troubled times, to continue your mission and be of inspired service while allowing yourself to be human and experience your experiences too. This video is being recorded on April 1st, 2020, during the global coronavirus pandemic. Current events and coronavirus fears are certainly inspiring today's video, but I want to be clear that long after this virus is gone, today's discussion can still serve you in any crisis or troubled time, particularly when it seems like there's something so huge, so beyond your control, with so much agreement about how dire it is that it seems almost impossible to not get sucked into a doom spiral. Before we get to positivity and being the light, I feel like I need to acknowledge that this is a dire situation. I'm not trying to minimize it. This is something that we have never faced before, and I pray that we never will have to face again. There could be impacts we haven't even imagined yet, as we're still in the stage of just trying to handle the immediate crisis and minimize further suffering and loss of life. And for that, like in any troubled situation, there's legitimate reason to be experiencing fear, anxiety, anger, and sadness. I often talk about our survival instincts, that at our base human level, our number one job is to survive. Through millions of years of evolution, we've done a pretty good job of it. It's how we're still around, largely because we're really good at recognizing threats and avoiding them. What we're experiencing right now is a threat on a global scale. Even though we're taking steps to stop the spread and protect ourselves, and even though you may feel like consciously you're in a good place and you've got it handled, your subconscious brain is very likely still flashing those major warning signals saying, danger, danger. The trick is to acknowledge the fear, experience the fear, even have the fear. Just don't let the fear have you. I was just talking with my daughter last night about something that wasn't directly related to coronavirus, but it was a very fitting conversation. She was expecting the worst of something, saying she needed to prepare herself for the harm that could come. Much like many business owners right now are bracing for financial impact, expecting the worst. So I asked, what if you expected the best? Prepared yourself for the good that could come? Let's just say her 16-year-old positioning was not ready to accept mom's twisted view of evolutionary adaptation just yet. But here's the thing, and I know that you know this, but in crisis situations when the amygdala gets switched on, it's easy to forget. Anytime anything happens, we can always choose our response. We can choose to expect the worst or choose to expect the best. And in so doing, we're essentially calling in, attracting, creating space for either the worst or the best. Most of the time, we have no say in whether an event happens or not. No control over the occurrence or intensity of things like economic downturns, illness, earthquakes, loss of a loved one. Crappy things happen all the time, and you, as a visionary leader, know that you can rise above it. And you know that to make the mark you're here to make, you must rise above it. But sometimes that can be hard to remember when it seems like all the evidence and agreement around you is saying that the sky is falling and it's the end of the world as we know it. Well, you know what? I hope this is the end of the world as we know it. I hope this makes us better. I believe that every challenge and every difficult time can make us better. The outcome and the process to the outcome is completely dependent on how we choose to respond to it. And while our response absolutely relates to the actions we take, it also relates to the thoughts and the feelings and the ways of being that drive those actions. So how can we as leaders respond to this crisis? How can we lead in positive, loving, compassionate, powerful ways? while also allowing ourselves to be in this experience, to give ourselves the grace to not have to have all the answers or be strong every second of the day. My response is that I choose to believe that we as individuals and as humanity will grow and evolve through this into being even better versions of ourselves, which ironically, in my opinion, means shedding the layers of illusion, taking off, undoing all that's not us. The illusions of separation and fear and not enoughness and all the inauthentic crap that we pretend to be, so that we can uncover and return to being who we really are, which is a perfect, magnificent, interconnected creation of God. To me, this global crisis is an incredible opportunity to unite us as one, to see that what affects one of us affects all of us, and the only way to save us is to do it together. I believe that this horrific event could be the tipping point to shift global consciousness. Abraham Hicks says the purpose of life is joy. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, but what I find very interesting is that in metaphysics, which looks at connections of how our thoughts and feelings cause physical manifestations of disease, it's believed that viral infections are caused by lack of joy. We, as humanity, are experiencing a global lack of joy. Plato said necessity is the mother of all invention. What an incredible opportunity this time can be for all of us, with the necessity to slow down, to be still, or at least to not be running around trying to do 37 different things at the same time, not being present for any one of them. What an incredible opportunity to face our mortality and know that life is precious and fleeting. And if we don't live life to the fullest and spend our time on what really matters right now, today, we may not have the luxury of tomorrow. And what an incredible opportunity to find joy, to create joy, even in the face of sorrow and without the things that we sometimes think we need to make us happy. So I invite you to join me, to look for yourself at who you choose to be and where you choose to stand through this. And then give yourself permission to be human. Honestly, I've felt myself waffle quite a bit the last few weeks. Some days I feel like this is the moment in time that I'm here for, to be the light in the darkness and metaphorically lead my people to the promised land. And other days, I just want to snuggle on the couch with my kids and escape into a movie without giving a single thought to what's happening outside these walls. I think the best we can do right now is to be real, to be intentional about what you want to create, and to be unattached to how it looks as you honor where you are and just allow yourself to be authentically you. This right now, me choking up, is a perfect example. It certainly wasn't planned, and you perhaps have been experiencing the same thing. It comes out of nowhere sometimes. This, again, is that aspect of being faced with our reality, that we do live in these somewhat destructible bodies, many of whom are sadly being destroyed right now. There is a huge loss of life happening and a huge threat to all of us. And yet, we can't hide in the dark. We're meant for more than that. And the gift we have is to make the most of every second we have, no matter how many of those seconds we have left. And so I'm planning a special series this month to help us all through this challenging time. You can click the video on your screen for the next in this series. And I invite you to come join my Facebook group, linked in the description below, to continue the conversation and connect with other like-minded leaders just like you, who are all being the light, carrying the torch, finding our way together.